Big recruiting weekend here at Georgia. Locked on Bulldogs, major targets. And I'm here to tell you that one of them has silently committed to Georgia. Stick around to find out.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? I am Daniel. He is Clint. This is the Locked On Bulldogs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, Locked On Atlanta, repping the Braves A here. Listen, don't want to bury the lead. Clint, are you a recruiting guru or an insider all of a sudden?
I am not a recruiting guru. I'm not an insider. I am not paying people to give me the numbers of those who are still not legally able to vote. That's not something that I have any business doing, Daniel.
Interesting. We are Georgia fans, and we are going to talk like Georgia fans. And so this podcast, a little bit of speculation, a lot of pontificating about who we would love to see in Athens. And maybe some observations about some patterns that we've seen in recruiting. We're going to get into all of that. First, want to thank you for being here, listening on audio, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your audio podcast. That's where we started the show. It'll always be available on audio in that format. And so thanks for tuning in there, following us on whatever app you listen to, and leaving us a 5-star rating and review. All those things are helpful. Thanks for doing that. You can also find us on YouTube and Locked On Bulldogs on YouTube. Easy to find. Subscribe to the show there. There's a bunch of you, great community over there. Hit us up. Leave us a comment. Give us a thumbs up for this video. It helps out. I know maybe you don't think it helps out, but if you just click it, it helps us out a bunch. Thank you for doing that. Send us a message on Twitter at Dawgs Podcast. All those are great ways to get in touch with us. And just so we can get all our cards on the table. We do not know the name of a person who has in fact given a silent commitment to the University of Georgia. We don't text minors, as Clint has said. We're not in the
big rule of my life.
Big rule. Listen, no knock against somebody like John Garcia Jr., who will be on the podcast again soon. From SI Recruiting. This guy's plugged in. He knows. He talks to people. So we don't know. But here's what we do know, because we've seen this game play out before.
Because we know Kirby, we know Georgia, and we know Cruton.
We do. We've watched the movie. It's the same movie if you just pay attention. Different characters, different settings sometimes, but it's the same film. What happens is this is the biggest and first recruiting weekend of the year. And Kirby does this thing that Kirby does where he likes to stack all the big fish into the barrel.
And by big fish, we mean 5 of the
largest
top 50. 5 of the top 50 best players in America were in Athens this last weekend.
Okay, let's just, before I finish my sentence, Clint, hit us with a rundown of the list of some of the names that we're thinking about in case someone head under a rock doesn't know.
Arch Manning, the number 1 prospect, the number 1
quarterback.
Now,
I have never heard of this guy. Who is he? What position does he play? An outside linebacker?
He plays. I actually think it's free safety, kind of a rangy prospect, up and coming guy.
He's a bit of a rover.
Yeah, he's a bit of a rover, a bit of a Thomas Davis kind of hybrid guy there.
Because I saw Thomas Davis with his dad, actually. So
there it is. There it is. Arch Manning, the best quarterback in all the land. Caleb Downs, the best. I'm going to say the best safety in all the land. Georgia guy.
Because you like telling the truth?
Because I like telling the truth, because I don't lie.
Cool.
AJ Harris, cornerback out of Alabama. Jalen Hale, 4-star, number 40 overall wide receiver. Justice Haynes, look, legacy on campus, Daniel. Yeah. Legacies upon legacies. Running back. Jalen Wilson, linebacker, commit to Michigan, was on it. TJ Shanahan, a inside offensive lineman. Chris Peel from Charlotte, 3-star defensive back. And then CJ Allen, a 3-star linebacker, as well as already commits for this coming cycle for Georgia. Pierce Spurlin, tight end. Gabe Harris, Raymond Cottrell, Lawson Lucky. The tight end room at Georgia continues to just produce these freaks upon freaks upon freaks upon freaks. 2 of them were there with Arch Manning and Caleb and AJ and Jalen Hale. All of them. That's the list. That's the rundown, Daniel.
I really should have thought before I asked you to do that we're now out of time. So thanks for joining us today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. By the way, we got to ask John Garcia. He mentioned him earlier when I talked to him earlier a couple weeks ago. We got to ask John Garcia more about this Pierce Spurlin kid, because the more I watch this kid, this is not a tight end.
Nope.
Like this is a wide receiver. Not even just a receiver. This is a wide receiver who's way too big. Like way too big. But he's a wide receiver. It's good. Here's the movie that we've seen before. One of these guys is now a silent commit to the University of Georgia.
One of these guys has shook Kirby's hand, told him, Kirby, I'm going to release this on a video at a certain time, but my commitment is to you. I'm shutting down my recruitment.
That's a and listen, whatever. Maybe that you say that's just speculation, or that's just wishful thinking, or that's just whatever. And it is just speculation.
Sure.
It is just so I'm also speculating
based upon previous history.
I'm also speculating that the sun will come up tomorrow, and that tomorrow when I wake up, I will still enjoy queso and golf. These are not things that I know for sure, but based on history, I'm going to speculate that those things are true. Based on history.
By the way, if you don't understand that Daniel is dipping into the queso while tapping in a 2-putt, you do not know this man.
You've never been in the cart with me, I'll tell you that. You've never been in the cart. All right. We're going to talk through some of these names. Who's the guy that you want the most? Who's the most important guy? What does each of these guys bring to the table? Stuff like that when we get into it. But first, Clint is going to talk to you about this.
Built Bar, tastiest protein bar on planet Earth. How do we know? We've tried them. We've tasted them. We put them in our mouths, and they are delicious. They are fantastic. They are high in protein. They are low in sugar. They are high in fiber. Keto approved, on-the-go meal replacement before workout, post-workout, during workout. But just don't look. Get Built Bar as a protein bar and eat it during your workout, because dude who sits there on the row machine shaking that protein shaker with that little ball in it just for 30 seconds with aggressive eye contact as he does so is not a look you want to go for. Okay, I'm here to tell you, don't be that guy, don't be that gal. It's aggressive eye contact. I don't know why you gotta look at me while you're doing that, man. It's so bizarre to me. It's so weird. Instead, get Built Bar. It's already in a bar. It's high in protein. This is the best protein bar on planet Earth. Head over there right now. Put in the promo code LOCKEDON15 for 15% off your entire order. That's BuiltBar.com. Promo code LOCKEDON15. 15% off your entire order.
Clint.
Yes, sir.
Let's go here first.
Okay.
And it's not a trick question. Who, if you could only have one of them?
Yeah.
Who are you taking?
Look, this is actually harder for me than should be easy. Okay, I'm here to tell you right now.
Please explain.
Okay. The quick gut easy answer is Arch Manning for a whole bunch of reasons. But y'all seen Caleb Downs play football? Y'all seen Caleb Downs cover and tackle? Y'all seen him do the defensive thing? And it is special. It is special, guys. Now look, with all that being said, I got to go Arch Manning because of what it means, not only on the field, but off the field. This, again, we're petty people. Daniel and I are petty individuals, all right? And we have no shame in doing so, because I get to
Some would say we've built an entire business around it. And Welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast here on the Locked On
Yes.
Podcast Network.
Yes, that's right. I want to take the Arch Manning commitment and I want to show it off and shove it in the face of every other person that talked bad about Kirby, that talks bad about development. Todd Monken can't get the big fish. We're just a RBU. We're just 3 yards in a pile of dust. We're defense only. And we could take Arch Manning and say, do you think he's making a wise business decision with very business savvy individuals in his lineage, literally, who have played NFL and have chosen Georgia as the best platform for him to continue the excellence of the Manning name in NFL lore? They chose Kirby Smart in Georgia, and I get to take that and I get to shove it in everybody's face.
I will say, I am taking Caleb Downs if I can only take one. So I'll just get my cards on the table.
Wow.
I will go past almost saying it, and I will say it. If I can only have one, I will take Caleb Downs. And if I can only have two, I might take Caleb Downs and Justice Hayes, but I digress.
Oh no.
The Arch Manning commitment is more important for the off the field stuff that you said and for the rest of the recruiting class. Because where Arch goes, a lot of other people are going to go.
So many.
So that is what really, to me, is reason A, B, and C to desperately want Arch Manning to be the quarterback at the University of Georgia. People are not going to like it. I understand, whatever. But I said this on the dumb video that we made, the Arch Manning recruitment video. It's okay. It was me. I can call my own things dumb. Okay, everybody knows that I do dumb things.
Go look at the video. There is a Florida fan who is so hard up to be part of Arch Manning conversation. He dressed in a tuxedo.
That's my favorite part of that video. And no one in the comments talked about the fact that a Florida fan is talking about if two of its biggest rivals will sign Arch Manning.
I love it.
We really found our way into a hole.
We did.
Clint's gonna be out for the rest. Clint's out for the rest of the podcast. Listen, what the heck was I saying? The Arch Manning thing to me is less of a big deal because I said on that video, we just won the national championship with Stetson Fleming Bennett as our quarterback. Sir. And so, and I'm dumb enough to think that we could win another national championship with Stetson Fleming Bennett as our quarterback. So it's not like I don't want him to come to Georgia. It's not like I'm not saying he would be an upgrade. Listen, he would be an upgrade at quarterback.
Okay, good. Glad you got that out of the way.
But that doesn't mean I have to make him the number one priority in this class. And when I think the best defender in college football, coming in as a freshman next year, I'm sorry. So I should say currently in high school football, the best current high school football defensive player, in my estimation, plays at Mill Creek High School.
I'm sorry. Is that important?
Is that far or near to the University of Georgia? I need him in Athens. I need him there because as much as Arch Manning has dominoes in terms of recruiting, so does Caleb Downs. And so that's why he's my guy. Obviously, we want all these guys to come back, and we're going to talk about who the rest of these guys are, what we like about them, what we don't like about them, what we've seen out of this recruiting weekend right after this. All right, Clint, what else stands out to you about this? A lot of big fish in the little barrel of Athens, Georgia. What stands out to you? What are some takeaways? What are you walking away from this recruiting weekend thinking or maybe even hoping for?
Here's what I'm walking away knowing. And again, how you set up a program, how you present yourself on a couple of very key factors. One, I'm going to speak about specifically the Arch Manning hype and what people are calling the red carpet, but actually what behind the scenes people are talking about, that Arch Manning doesn't want this sort of status of savior, of the all out red carpet, the literal red carpet. He wants to know who he's playing for and who he's coming in, and he wants to have honest conversations. But he wants to be sincere in those conversations. He wants to be straightforward. He wants to be able to speak well. That's the first thing I want to talk about. Is this recruiting weekend? Look, those white jerseys, just so y'all know right now, I, I will fight you to a person if you don't like those white jerseys. Those slap, Daniel.
Ooh.
Those.
Ooh. Even the white helmet?
Ooh.
On record, even the white helmet?
On record, the white helmet hits. That is fire, y'all. I'm here to say that whole kit, the whole kit was incredible to me. I loved every single second of it. I'll take it
Listen to
every
me, I'm
single
not
time.
agreeing with you or disagreeing with you, and I want
I
you to
hear you.
finish your thought, but you brought up the white jerseys, and I got into a conversation this weekend with a good friend of mine, huge Georgia fan, got into a conversation this weekend about this fact, and it blew my mind that there were people that actually thought this. So let me just say this out loud in case you're also one of those people. You will never see those jerseys on the field.
Not one time. Not one
Ne-
time.
Not one time will you see those white helmets, white jerseys, white pants being worn together. You won't see it. Georgia has a closet full of jerseys from Nike that you've never seen before.
Correct.
Do you know why you've never seen them before? Because they haven't decided to let a kid take a picture with them before to try to recruit him.
Do you understand that all these kids go into the bathroom and take the pictures in the bathroom, because outside of that they're saying no, give me that phone. No, that we'll take care of the photos out here. Okay, you can pick up your personal items over there. There's a whole, y'all got some weird alternative jerseys in there. Okay, but what I really liked about this recruiting weekend is, again, it was not this Lollapalooza type feel to it, Daniel. Those are aspects of recruiting that you have to have. You have to have some glitz, some glamour. But this seemed very business like across the board. The reports coming out where the Mannings were in tow. You said earlier there was some Thomas Davis. There were some ex NFL guys that weren't there. Look, you don't have to have ex NFL guys to hoop and holler. Thomas Davis is there because if you know anything about Thomas Davis, the man is as business as they come. He don't mess around, Daniel. So he's out there saying, let me tell you my time at Georgia, how it led me to be one of the most prolific linebackers, the most prolific linebacker in a whole franchise of one team in the NFL. Let me show you what that meant to me. That's what he's doing there. It's not just for namesake. And that's what's number one. Number two, y'all realize that there's a linebacker who's committed to Michigan. There is a running back who is a legacy. There is a big old drink of water wide receiver from Texas that has Texas and USC and Alabama on the board, and he was there the same weekend as Arch Manning. No coincidence needed there, y'all. This is
No.
not a coincidence. Look, the narrative is always going to be Alabama and Georgia for 1 and 2 recruiting going forward. That's the narrative. And I'm here to tell you, we got first crack at these guys, and they have Alabama on the list. And a lot of these players are trending up. Wide receiver, quarterback. Wait a second. Those aren't positions that we're accustomed to having in the recruiting battle. The domino that tripped that whole thing, his name's George Pickens. Okay, y'all?
Yep.
And dominoes be falling everywhere now for quarterback and wide receiver towards Georgia.
You said is business-like. Kirby is almost has a scientist feel to him when it comes to recruiting these days.
That's right.
He almost has this thing down to a science. And I promise you, if you were behind the scenes in the Buttsmeer building, you would see and know that every second of this weekend was meticulously crafted and planned and executed to perfection to a standard, Clint. Because I'm not sure if you're aware, but everything Kirby does is to a standard. He's not just out here hoping to win.
No.
Like, that's the thing I think that's still lost on some people is these great coaches are not out here doing their best and then getting stressed out like us, the fans, hoping. that the team wins the game. I think there's a confidence to Kirby Smart. Even if we had lost the national championship game, and my Lord, Clint, what would the narrative have been about Georgia and Kirby versus Nick Saban, Georgia versus Alabama? If we had lost in that national championship game,
I
every
don't need to think
person
about
in
it.
the world, including you and me, would be out here just wailing and moaning. I think Kirby would have been upset if we had lost the national
Yes.
championship game. Don't get me wrong. But I think there's a confidence to Kirby that if you keep doing things this way, you are
Yep.
going to get the results. And guess what? He was right. So it stands to reason now. Georgia's not going to win every national championship. Alabama certainly doesn't win every national championship. But if you keep doing things to this certain standard,
Yep.
you're going to get the results to that same standard. And that's where Georgia is right now. They are at the top of the heap in terms of not only their on the field production, but their recruiting. They have gone toe to toe with Alabama, and they have beaten Alabama across a 4-year span of recruiting. And
You guys think
that
that
doesn't look like it's going to change.
I have bloodlust. I have tasted blood of the Crimson Tide, and I want more of it, to the fact of I want to get rid of Auburn. If it was Auburn or Bama, give me Bama. If you think that I have that, imagine Kirby, who is the most competitive person in America. What do you think his bloodlust is now, y'all? Like college football let this man in, and he won, and that's on you, because
That's on you.
Grim Reaper coming for y'all now.
I was once told that Nick Saban broke college football with Henry To'o, the transfer.
Oh, no.
I'm about to tell you something. Kirby Smart's about to break college football with the Kirby standard. And there's about to be a death march, only it's not going to be in the fourth quarter of a game. It's going to be over a decade. You understand? And it's not going to be across a field. It's going to be across an entire landscape of college football. Ooh, it's going to be something to see. All right.
It is.
We'll be back the rest of the week. We got more to cover, more from this Georgia team that we want to talk about right here on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. See y'all then.
See ya.